In the world of motorsports, rivalries between disciplines have long fueled debates. Who's the best? Is it a NASCAR driver, an IndyCar ace, an F1 world champion, or maybe a road racing specialist? In 1973, the International Race of Champions, known as IROC, set out to settle that argument. By placing elite drivers from various racing backgrounds in identical cars, IROC was designed to level the playing field and determine who truly had the most skill behind the wheel. For over 3 decades, it thrilled fans with its unique concept and marquee matchups. But by the early 2000s, the series had faded into obscurity and ultimately ceased operations. The story of IROC is a fascinating chapter in racing history. IROC was the brainchild of Roger Penske, Les Richter, and Mike Phelps. Its premise was simple yet groundbreaking. Bring together the best drivers from different racing series and have them compete in identically prepared cars. This eliminated the variable of equipment and focused solely on driver talent. Throughout its history, IROC maintained a schedule of roughly 4 races per season. When you're bringing together drivers from different series, it's hard to get schedules to line up. The first IROC season in 1974 featured names like Richard Petty, AJ Foyt, and Emerson Fittipaldi, legends from NASCAR, IndyCar, and Formula One. The cars used were Porsche Carrera RSRs, and the races were held on both road courses and ovals, further testing the versatility of the drivers. Over the years, the series would use different vehicles, including Camaros, Dodge Daytonas, and later Pontiac Firebirds. Regardless of the car, the idea remained the same. Same equipment, different drivers, one champion. IROC was synonymous with several tracks, namely Riverside in the early years. Of course, Daytona was a staple, as was Michigan, Talladega, and Watkins Glen. However, towards the end of the 1970s, the international part of the name started to make less and less sense. IROC always was a stock car series at heart, which gave a big advantage to NASCAR drivers. The F1 drivers who appeared in the 1970s like Jody Scheckter, James Hunt, Jackie Ickx, and Niki Lauda all stopped entering by the end of the decade. After a 4-year hiatus from 1980 to 1983, IROC returned in 1984 and really had its golden era. Even though the F1 drivers had more or less departed, the series brought a lot of intrigue matching the stars of NASCAR, IndyCar, and endurance racing. The series regularly featured motorsport icons like Dale Earnhardt, Mario Andretti, Al Unser Jr., Mark Martin, and Darrell Waltrip. Mark Martin in particular became synonymous with IROC, winning the championship 5 times and dominating the series in the 1990s. Al Unser Jr. was the last non-Winston Cup driver to win the title, all the way back in 1988. And therein lies the problem. It was a great idea on paper, but the series got away from its roots. It lost a lot of its luster when the series converged into a NASCAR exhibition series. Sure, the races were still fun, but the IndyCar and IMSA drivers lost their chance to win the title when road courses fell off the schedule after 1991. Beyond that, IROC's schedules consisted of Daytona, Talladega, Darlington, and Michigan. Later on, tracks like Indianapolis, Charlotte, Chicagoland, and Texas were rotated in. The televised races, often going on during a major weekend of racing, gave race fans a rare treat: the chance to watch their favorite drivers compete against each other in what was supposed to be an even playing field. It was, in many ways, motorsports' version of a true all-star game, but with real competition and real stakes. Despite its popularity, IROC began to lose momentum in the early 2000s. Several factors contributed to its decline. The first is sponsorship troubles. The series relied heavily on title sponsorship and manufacturer support. As companies trickled their sponsorship dollars into Winston Cup or CART or the IRL, IROC struggled to attract consistent backing. The next problem that I've already touched on is driver availability. As motorsports calendars grew more demanding, especially in NASCAR and IndyCar, it became increasingly difficult to get top-tier drivers to commit to IROC races. In the waning years, there'd even be drivers from the Busch Series or the Truck Series filling out the field. With the rise of specialized motorsports broadcasting and an oversaturation of racing content in the early 2000s, IROC lost the special event appeal. By the end of the series' existence, most races were held on Friday evening or Saturday morning of a NASCAR weekend, which meant that attendance was never great and TV ratings were low. While the series began with a strong mix of drivers from different disciplines, by the 2000s it had become increasingly NASCAR-centric. The once rich diversity of driving talent had thinned out, and the original vision of cross-discipline competition totally faded. Sure, there still were a few upsets, like Sebastian Bourdais winning the 2005 Texas race, or World of Outlaws star Danny Lasowski winning the 2004 race there, but by and large, it was a Cup star that usually won these races. In 2006, after years of dwindling interest, IROC held its final race. The series was quietly shut down after failing to secure a title sponsor for 2007, and the dream of crowning the ultimate driver across motorsport disciplines ended. Though IROC is gone, its legacy remains significant. It provided fans with unforgettable driver lineups, and proved that great drivers could adapt across disciplines. It also has inspired similar concepts in modern racing, like the yearly Race of Champions event and the short-lived SRX series that echoed the IROC philosophy. In a sport dictated by engineering advantages, IROC dared to ask, what if we made it totally fair? For over 30 years it attempted to answer that question, giving fans a glimpse into what true driver parity could look like. While I won't say that IROC really ever answered that question, it was still fun for what it was. The International Race of Champions was an ambitious experiment in motorsports, one that gave us fun moments and answered some of racing's greatest what-ifs. While its demise was gradual and somewhat inevitable in a changing media and commercial landscape, IROC remains a cherished memory for race fans of a certain age. It was more than just a series. It was a real treat to see drivers who would otherwise never compete against each other go at it on some of the greatest racetracks America had to offer. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.